got so many running backs, and I know a coach's job isn't necessarily to keep guys happy. But yet, at the same time, how do you encourage those guys to keep everybody engaged when they all would like to play, probably more than ever?
It can be challenging at times to keep those guys all happy. I mean, we have a lot of good players on our team. Outside of our room, we've got some really good receivers. I'm sure they'd like a few more touches. Got some good tight ends. They'd like a few more touches. And I think it's just a matter of them understanding that it takes all of us to be successful for the entire season. I mean, very rarely do you see, one back really do take the workload the whole season. I mean, there's very few Derrick Henrys out there in the world, so you try to do the best you can to preserve those guys, and I think they appreciate that. Try to keep an eye on the odometer, so to speak, throughout the game and see where we are from a rep standpoint, just trying to make sure that we all have a chance to be fresh when we're in the game and give the defense different looks that they have to prepare for. And it helps when those kids, they cheer for each other. They're really, really tight, and they love to see each other have success. But I just continue to try to challenge them in different ways and keep them hungry in that aspect.
When we talked to you last month, you were talking about, Isaac and trying to make sure he stayed focused in the offseason and that. What did you see during the offseason that kind of led to at least the first game? I mean, there weren't many carries, but they were good carries.
I think I saw more of a commitment in the weight room from him. Talking with our strength staff, I think they do a tremendous job of challenging our guys and pushing them in ways that I think are specific to the position. And, I really thought he took a step in the weight room this offseason. And it shows. I mean, I think physically he looks a little different this year. He's a little thicker, a little heavier, a little sturdier runner. Those are some of the things and the aspects that we were trying to capture. Some of the things I brought up to his attention as we watched some of the big plays he had last season and things. There were some yards that we left on the field. And I think it's just a matter of gaining strength, adding a few more pounds, being a little bit more sturdy in between the tackles, being able to play a little better through contact. Those are some of the things that we highlighted. And he agreed. And so I think he's really tried to take a concerted effort and focus on building muscle mass this offseason and still being able to keep his speed and explosiveness.
Coach, Duke didn't get many carries on Saturday, but had a heck of a catch in the end zone. Can you talk about his progression, not just carrying the ball, but especially in the receiving game as well?
Well, I mean, that's the area that I wanted Duke to have more carries. I didn't realize until we got far along in the game that he only had 2 carries, and at that point the game was pretty much we had built a good lead. And he understood he's a competitive kid, but he also roots for the other guys. And that's the area of his game where I really thought that as we looked back from last season and watched the things that we can prepare and get better at, I thought that was the one area he really needed to work on the most was tracking the football. He's a really, really competitive kid. That area of his game he can still evolve in some, and he's really done a good job. I mean, just catching a lot of passes throughout the summer, be it on the jugs or from the quarterbacks, from different angles, seeing it over the right shoulder, seeing it over the left shoulder, seeing it 10 to 15 yards downfield. And so I was just tickled to death to see him bring that 30-yard pass in, because I know how much he's worked on it, and I know how much it meant to him. And so I was just fired up for him.
Just going down the list of running backs, obviously, Duke and Isaac are really special talents right now. Obviously, following up really good freshman year. But where does Kevon kind of fit in things, whether that be, leadership on the field? How does he kind of factor into the running back room?
He always factors in. I mean, he's Mr. Versatility, and he's kind of I guess in some ways, my youngest child has her favorite blanket. She's 2 years old, and it soothes her. I mean, Kevon, he kind of does that for me. I mean, he's the glue. I think both Isaac and Duke are special in their own right. I mean, they're fireworks. You know what I mean? Thunder over Louisville, so to speak. And I think that Kevon is kind of he's the blanket that keeps it all together, and just to make sure it goes. And he's a good change of pace to those kids. And I think he has his own style of play. And we talk all the time about, hey, Bama, you don't need to be Isaac. You don't need to be Duke. You need to be you. think when you combine those three kids together, I think you've got a three-headed monster. That those are three different types of games that you need to prepare for as a defense to corral, to take the right proper angles. And then, you know, Keywan, he's sturdy, man. He's gritty. He's rugged. That's his game. And little bit different than Isaac and Duke, and it presents a good, I think, a good kind of mix for the defense. You know, when he comes in, it's a little bit more physical, a little bit more pads popping. But at the same time, I think he has excellent vision. He can catch the football. He can pass protect. I mean, he's a well-rounded kid, and so we're just fortunate to have him to be able to blend with those other two kids.
These last two questions kind of hit on the one I've got, because I was going to ask about versatility. We talked about, you know, Duke and his catch, and Isaac and what he's done, and Keywan had a touchdown catch that got called back, and then special teams play,
Yes.
Pass protection. How much pride? How much have these three progressed in almost every area?
I mean, that's one thing that I take pride in as a coach is, you know, no matter the type of success that we've been able to have, we always try to find ways to improve. And some of those things I challenge them in special teams as well. And Bama, with his body type, he can do a lot of different jobs on the football field. So he gives us a lot of versatility, not just from an offensive standpoint, but from a special team standpoint. I know Coach Maslowski's fired up about him. Just being able to put both he and Colin Lacey back deep has really just got us tickled to death right now about that. And then Isaac and Duke have the ability to go back there as well and be very effective as well. And so, you know, I was just excited to see Bama have the big kick return at the end of the game. That's something that he and I spoke about this offseason, you know, just personally, is, you know, Bama, what do you need to do to take the next step? And one of those things was, hey, man, I know you work hard and you're a rugged guy and you take pride in between the tackles, but in reality, we need to put some big plays on tape. You know, that's coming from Isaac and Duke right now. You need to show these folks that you can run too. You need a 50-plus yard run. You know what I mean? Like, show these people that you can really run. So I was just tickled to death to see him, you know, have the 65-yard kickoff return. And I know he's looking forward to more opportunities. I think he's had a fantastic offseason. Been giddy about him the whole offseason, the summer. And I see it in his eyes. He's ready to rock and roll. You know, so whenever he gets his opportunity, he knows his kind of his role and how valuable he is to us. And I think he's just chomping at the bit to go out and continue to prove himself. But all three of those kids just fired up about him, where they are and how they continue to improve.
Chris, continuing to go down the depth chart, what did you think about Sean Boykins and his in-game debut at running back?
Very impressed. You know, he's got some traits. You know, I tell him all the time. You know, he's a big man. You know, he's not you know, what you would consider to be. I guess he's probably the biggest one in our room. And when you think about that, coupled with the fact that he's just as fast as Isaac and Duke, I mean, there's something there. You know, and those are some of the traits that we saw in him when we recruited him. And then just watching him kind of here early in his career, just trying to find a way onto the field and things like that. You saw flashes of it with the ball in hand. And so I just was like, you know, let's just take a look at the running back. He kind of reminds me of some guys I've had before. A little bit of a project, but has traits that if he buys in and can really kind of clean his eyes up in his movement, I think there's some things there. He has some gifts that we can really put on display. And so, you know, I was impressed. I mean, I thought he showed good vision. I think that's gotten better as he's kind of moved closer to the football, playing running back now. I think seeing the game and so many bodies around has been a transition for him. You know, he's used to playing out in space and running a hitch route, and there's one corner in front of him and things like that. But now, you know, there's 4 D linemen, there's 3 linebackers, there's linemen's blocks that you need to read, leverage of blocks and things, all of that. So the game is slowing down, I think, slowly for him. He's a smart kid. He digests it, he asks questions, shows up early, stays late. So I'm seeing the buy-in from him. But I tell him, I mean, he kind of reminds me of the kid we had at the previous spot who's starting for the New York Giants right now, Tyrone Tracy. Was kind of a guy that, you know, was wanted to play both, Debo Samuel type of guy, outside on the end as well as running back periodically. But, you know, once he bought in, he just kind of took off. And he had traits. He could run. He could catch from the receiver position. And I think there's a lot of the similar traits with Sean. And so seeing the buy-in from him, he's really close to Isaac and Duke, and I didn't realize they were all in the same class, him, Isaac, and Duke. And in Bama, they're all really close, so they're helping him. And you're just seeing the growth from him day in, day out. Almost similar to like what I saw from Gorindo a couple of years ago. Just when Jaws kind of got nicked up, just the increased amount of reps, you saw the growth week in and week out. And I think you're going to see the same with Sean as he continues to grow in the position. So excited about what we saw from him and his continued growth.
Last one, Jordan. Chris, you haven't, last year, the 2 night games you played were away. Having one here is different. Those guys have not played in a night game here. How different is it at night? And then the second part, how do you manage like the reps? How do you go into the game thinking you want to kind of do things?
It's a great question. I mean, well, this is going to be their first, I guess, night game at home. So excited about that. They have played on Friday nights, and so in high school, so excited to see how they handle their first one in college. Always been excited about playing at home in front of our fan base. They really come out and support us tremendously. It was great Saturday, and we anticipate a great crowd on Friday night. And we'll compete with local high school football a little bit, but we're excited about the opportunity to go out there and compete. And I know these young men, regardless what day we play on, we play Tuesday at 4:30. I mean, they're going to be excited to play. And then just as far as these young men repetitions and how they split up. I mean, I think obviously there's a plan when we go into each game, and I think I kind of read it as we go. As it's flowing, I kind of get a feel for it. I track reps. You probably see me writing a lot on the sideline just to give the guys feedback, but also keep an eye on the odometer and see where we are, see what's going on in the game, how the game is flowing, who's hot, who's not, and just get a feel for it that way. So it may differ from game to game, and then of course at times injuries happen, and so I got to be prepared for that, and I think the guys do a good job staying ready. But I think it kind of goes game by game. And, it's going to be my intention to get all 3 of those guys involved every week. That's the intention. And if we're blessed and fortunate enough to play others, we can play more. But those 3 have to be involved, in my opinion.